Write essays the right way. Two students turn in the exact same kind of essay. One wrote every single word herself. Clean arguments, original structure, her own voice from the first sentence to the last. She got flagged for using AI. The other had ChatGPT write the whole thing, ran it through a paraphrasing tool, and submitted it as his own work. He walked away clean. If that sounds backwards, it is. And it is happening in classrooms right now, because AI detection is far more flawed than most schools want to admit. In this video, I'm going to show you exactly how these detectors work, why they fail in both directions, and more importantly, how to use AI on your writing in a way that is genuinely safe regardless of what any detector says. Here is what most students never find out about AI detection. These systems do not read your essay for meaning. They analyze it for mathematical patterns. Two things specifically: how predictable your word choices are given the words that came before them, and how much your sentence rhythm varies from one line to the next. AI-generated text tends to be smooth and statistically consistent. Human writing tends to be a little messier, a little more erratic. The detector is measuring that gap. Turnitin claims their system is 98% accurate with false positives under 1%. That sounds reassuring. But independent researchers tested it on real-world samples and found false positive rates several times higher than Turnitin's own published number. And here is the finding that should concern every student writing in a second language. Detectors misclassify writing by non-native English speakers at a dramatically higher rate than they misclassify writing by native speakers. Students who wrote every word themselves, flagged, just because their sentence structure sounds different from what the system was trained on. That is not a minor quirk. That is a fundamental flaw. Now here is the strategic part. Detection accuracy drops sharply the moment AI text has been meaningfully edited. Some studies show the detection rate falling from the high 90s down to the low 40s after real rewrites. So if your plan was to generate something, tweak a few sentences, and submit, that is not a safe plan. That is a coin flip. And here is something most students do not know. You cannot actually test your own paper against Turnitin before submitting. That access is restricted to instructor accounts. Any tool marketed to students as a pre-check is approximating the logic, not replicating it. You are making an educated guess either way. But here is the deeper issue, and this is the one that matters most. If AI writes your essay, what did you learn? Essay writing is one of the few school activities that trains you to organize your own thinking under time pressure. You take a messy pile of half-formed ideas and build them into something that flows logically from a claim to evidence to a conclusion. That skill transfers to nearly everything you will do professionally. Clear emails, persuasive arguments, job interview answers. Outsourcing the writing does not just risk a grade. It quietly skips the rep that was supposed to build a real skill. So here is the clean rule for where the line actually is. If you would be comfortable telling your professor exactly how you used AI on this assignment, you are fine. Brainstorming angles on your topic before you have chosen your argument? Safe. Asking AI to push back on your thesis so you find the weak points before your professor does? Not just safe, genuinely useful. Getting feedback on a draft you already wrote? Totally fine. Having AI write a full paragraph in your voice and lightly editing it? That is where authorship becomes unclear, not because of what the detector says, but because the ideas and sentences did not come from you. For brainstorming and feedback, Claude and ChatGPT are genuinely strong, but the prompt makes the difference. Do not say write my essay about this. Say, ask me questions that help me figure out what I actually think about this topic. That one change keeps the thinking yours while still getting real, useful input. For grammar and clarity, Grammarly is about as low risk as AI assistance gets. It is not touching your argument at all. For paraphrasing tools like Quillbot, there is a clear line. Using one on your own writing to vary your phrasing is generally fine. Running AI-generated text through it to disguise where it came from is exactly the behavior detectors are trained to catch. Here is the full workflow that holds up under any scrutiny. Write your thesis yourself, even rough. Bring it to Claude or ChatGPT and ask it to stress test the argument. What is the strongest counterpoint? Where is the logic weakest? Take notes from that conversation and write your own outline. Write the first full draft yourself, from start to finish. Then return to AI for structural feedback. Where does the argument lose momentum? What is repetitive? Which point should come earlier? Revise everything in your own words. Finish with Grammarly. At every step in that process, the thinking was yours. AI played the role of a sharp study partner who asked good questions and caught weaknesses. If your professor asked exactly how you used it, you could walk them through the whole process without hesitation. And here is the simplest protection of all. Ask your professor what their policy actually is. It varies more than most students realize, and a 2-minute email saves you from guessing wrong in either direction. This is part of a 5-video series on AI for students. The rest are linked below, covering the complete AI study system, the best tools for math and science, how to land your first job with AI, and the AI Research Assistant Guide. Subscribe so you catch all of them. And drop a comment below. Has a teacher ever flagged your work by mistake? I want to hear it.